Thanks very much for tuning in to the Property Show. Buy, sell or invest in real estate anywhere across the country. This is a space you should be watching. If you've got a question, write into us. Property@ndtv.com or pick up the phone and call us, numbers on your screen. We've got Gaurav Pandey, Head of Research, Prop Equity, taking all your questions today. And what have we got lined up on the show? National Capital Region, we will cover Gurgaon and Greater Noida and cull out some great property options. Then we'll head south, Chennai and Bengaluru, to explore prime properties. Two more cities covered on today's show. Mohali, that's right next to Chandigarh, and Ahmedabad in the west for smart investment options. Of course, our popular segment, legal segment. Today we'll discuss options that you have if your builder is charging labor cess over and above your contract. And of course, many more interesting and common questions with Legal View. Let's also get you what's happened in the world of real estate across this week, some top real estate stories.
On the lines of the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has announced a new industrial corridor between Amritsar and Kolkata. Stretching across 1900 kilometers, this project will cover the states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and West Bengal, and it will use the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor as the backbone. The Prime Minister has appointed an interministerial group to prepare the feasibility report for this industrial corridor. Gujarat's wait for its very own metro finally seems to be over. First phase of metro rail project between the state's two major cities, Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar, is slated to be completed by 2017. The project, spanning over 83 kilometers, is a joint venture between the state and the central government and will cost Rs 19,000 crore. The first phase will connect all important points of Ahmedabad to the future city of GIFT in Gandhinagar. It's now Kerala's turn to embrace the metro. Work on the Kochi Metro Rail, which will begin shortly, is expected to provide an image makeover for the city. This project, costing over 5,000 crore, will be executed by the Delhi Metro Rail Corporation and is expected to meet its 3-year deadline. In a surprise move, the Environment Ministry has scrapped green clearances for high-rise buildings. The ball will now be in state government's court to regulate the safety code for their states. Earlier, the Environment Ministry would clear high-rise projects on the basis of the width of the road or distance from fire stations. But following pleas from state governments like Maharashtra, the Union Ministry has done away with its green rules for high-rises. Land-starved Mumbai's private developers are now moving towards city's eco-sensitive salt pans. Huge tracts of salt pans in the eastern and western suburbs of the city could unleash about 5,500 acres of land for real estate development. Owned by the centre-run salt department, they were leased to salt manufacturers decades ago, many of whom have surreptitiously tied up with builders to develop these lands in case the government decides to open them in the future. These tracts are the last of the few remaining open spaces left. Delhi government will soon unveil a policy to provide relief to lakhs of Delhiites waiting to carry out construction of additional floors in residential flats having multiple ownership. The policy plans to do away with production of no objection certificates by people having right over third floor from the other floor owners for expansion of building. The Uttar Pradesh government has freed up about 5 lakh square meters of land worth 12,500 crore from illegal encroachments along the Greater Noida expressway. About 200 illegal constructions had come on the prime land along the Greater Noida expressway, where about 125 acres had been earmarked for a special economic zone. The illegal structures stretched from the Hind and Pushta along NH24 right up to Kulsera in Greater Noida. The encroachments in fact fall under the Yamuna flood zone, where construction is as it is banned.
Alright, so that's the news, and let's move on to the Q&A session. Gurgaon, Greater Noida, Mohali. So we're going to focus on the north. Let's take this question. We've got Nitlaksh Ranjan on the phone line with us. Hi Nitlaksh, go ahead.
Hello ma'am.
Hi.
I'm Nitlaksh. My question to you is that I have a budget of 1 crore and 50 lakh rupees and want to buy a property for end use in pre-launch stage.
Okay.
Okay, and it should be within a time horizon of 4 to 5 years. And I have shortlisted the following projects in Gurgaon, that is M2K in Sector 104,
Alright.
Ashiana in Sector 88A, and Ramprastha Primera in 37D.
Alright, fair enough. Well, Nitlaksh, if you want to buy a property in the pre-launch phase, you might as well do it really fast, because once the regulator bill is passed in the parliament, there will be no projects in the pre-launch phase. And that's something that we don't recommend. We say at least take it in the launch phase. You must have all the clearances in place before you invest in the project. This pre-launch has to completely go out of the market. But let's review the projects that you've sent us today.
So he has three, projects in mind, and unfortunately, none of that makes.
None of them make the cut.
Yeah,
okay, so let's give him some new options.
Sure. So let me first give you a snapshot of the micro market, which is Dwarka Expressway, and then we'll talk about a bit of your projects which you had shortlisted, and then come to our recommendations. So Dwarka Expressway has about 15 projects with about supply of 6,034 units, available at about 1525 units. Inventory overhang at very low of 8 months. The weighted average price of this mid segment would be about 5,158 per square feet. The average size of a 2 BHK would be just around 1200 square feet. This micro market has appreciated by about 66% in the last 2.5 years. So you have three projects in mind. So before negating, just a quick snapshot of the projects. First is a project called Beaumont from M2K in sector 104. Trading at about 5860 per square feet. Total number of units are about 504. Units are available from the developer. The challenge in this particular project is that the developer track record is not really known, and Dwarka Expressway being a location as it is, it's not really advisable to maybe look at this option. The second project that you had in mind is a project called Ashana Landcraft from Ashana Homes in sector 88A. This is also getting completed somewhere around 2017. Units are available from the developer, but with your budget, you can actually look at better parts of Dwarka Expressway, and this is more towards Pataudi Road. The third project that you had in mind is a project called Ramprastha Primera from Ramprastha Builders in sector 37D, trading at a high of 6,500 rupees a square feet. Total number of units 472, and completion is about 2015. The challenge with this particular project is the micro market itself, which is not really the right place to invest. There's not much of activity also that's noticed. So we've given you a recommendation where we see 2 points. One, it's part of the Dwarka Expressway, which is predominantly sectors 102 and 104 around, and importantly, it should give you a good amount of upside. So something which is closer to the launch date. So this project is called Heritage Max from Conscient Infrastructure, which is in sector 102, trading at about 5850 per square feet. Completion date is 2017. The units that you will get in your budget would be somewhere from the resale market. You'll have to hunt down in the resale market, and you should be able to get a good deal from there. It has all excellent sports facilities. It is a luxury project. It's slightly above the normal price range, but you need to maybe look at this project because it's in the right sector, good developer, good project.
Actually, it's not more expensive than M2K Beaumont, which he's shortlisted 5860. And you're really a tough guy, because this is the first time on this show that we've actually given a thumbs down to 3 projects that the caller has sent us. Sure. So none of these meet the benchmarks. It's not like we like every project. 2 of these projects haven't made the cut because we don't like the location. We really don't think those micro markets are vibrant enough for you to invest in. Even if you have a 4 to 5 year perspective, don't go there right now. One of the developers, we're not very comfortable with the credentials, so none of them get a thumbs up. The only project, we'll just bring this up once more, which fits into your budget and of course early stages of launch, is Heritage Max, Conscient Infrastructure. Take a look at this, pretty much in the price range, much better location. Go ahead, pick it up. Pratik Shah writes in and he says, I'm looking for the residential 2 BHK flat for investment purpose, which can give me reasonable returns. Please suggest some projects on Yamuna Expressway. Also suggest whether we should be looking at projects at Yamuna Expressway or at NH24. Budget is 25 to 30 lakhs. I also have shortlisted projects which are, of course, a whole list: Nimbus, the Golden Palm Village, Bharat City, Ghaziabad, Oris County, Yamuna Expressway. Suggest me the right time to invest the money in a property, or should we wait for some time? Now that's a difficult one to say, especially for NCR, where there seem to be so many investors, that a slowdown is imminent, but it's not as if the market's likely to crash in the immediate future. Isn't that true?
I think you've rightly put it, Manish. And how you can perhaps mitigate your risk is, if you're looking at, say, Yamuna Expressway, don't look at things which are very much ahead, out of say about 15-20 kilometers from the junction. You should look at things not prior, after the JP's project. And Indraprastha Yojana, which is your second micro market, seems fine as well. So you have 3 projects, preferred projects. One is the Golden Palm Village in Yamuna Expressway. Second is Curiosity in Yamuna Expressway, and the third being Bharat City 2 in Indraprastha Yojana. So I'll give you a quick snapshot of each of these micro markets first. Yamuna Expressway has about 20 projects, 12,723 number of units, available at about 4,140 units. Inventory overhang at a low of about 20 months, which is reasonable by the region standards. This is a mid segment. Price would be trading at about 3,208 rupees per square feet. A typical 1 BHK would be about 577 square feet. The second option that you have is in Indraprastha Yojana. So the micro market, which consists of Sahibabad, Mohan Nagar Indraprastha Yojana, has about 11 projects. Total supply of 3,622 units, available at about 258 units. Inventory overhang at a low of 8 months. This is an affordable mid-segment market, and the price would be about 3,158 per square feet. The weighted average price is reasonably there, and if you see the price appreciation, Yamuna Expressway, it has been slightly larger by about 40% in the last 2.5 years, and the Indraprastha Yojana sectors are at about 18%. So that's one part. Now coming down to your preferences, the first preference that you have in mind is a project called the Golden Palm Village from IITL Nimbus Group in Yamuna Expressway. Now this project is located in a section which is not very vibrant per se, and the developer doesn't enjoy very good reputation as such. And in markets which are peripheral, that is not in the city, you should look at good developers and with good track record. So while the project is expected to get completed sometime around 2016, you should perhaps still give it a miss given the developer credential. The second preferred project from your end was Bharat City 2 from BCC developers in Indraprastha Yojana. There are two prices which are trading, 2738 to about 3040 for without subvention, with subvention slightly higher at about 3065 to 3366. Now the challenge in this project is nothing major, but just if you can live with the fact that the surrounding of this location has Bharat gas bottling plant, which could pose some kind of like a peace of mind issue for some people. So if you can ignore that, then this project is fine because it has the backing of HDFC PMS, and it has some social infrastructure surrounding that area. So you can look at that if you are okay to let go that issue of Bharat gas surrounding. The third preferred project from your side is a project called Curiosity from Oris Infrastructure in Yamuna Expressway. Now this is a reasonably good project, but the only problem is that it's very much further down from from the Yamuna Expressway, about actually 1.5 kilometers from the Yamuna Expressway, much after the JP project. Now this location is only emerging now. So maybe at your budget you have better options, so you can give it a miss to this one as well. Now let's come down to one recommendation that we have for you in Yamuna Expressway, which is from the JP Group. The project name is Buddh Circuit Studios 2. This is trading at about 3390 per square feet. Total number of units are about 1800. This was launched very recently, just in March of this year, and should be getting completed by about 2016. This being part from the JP Sports City spread over 2500 acres, should see good infrastructure development, and the way Wishtown project has panned out, this project itself will have that ambience, that kind of quality lifestyle. So you can look at this one.
Okay, I think we will try and do a better collaboration of projects that we do think are ones that you should go ahead with, and the ones we don't think are worth your money. So I'm going to just repeat it. So the only one which gets a thumbs up, and let's flash that again, is Bharat City 2 BCC developer Indraprastha Yojana. This is not on the Yamuna Expressway, but this is in one of your preferred location. There is a bottling plant close by, a gas bottling plant, but that concern aside, if that doesn't bother you, take this. The other one is of course Buddh Circuit Studios, the one which has come from Property as a recommendation. That's Yamuna Expressway in your price range, and you should be able to get a 1 BHK in the monies that you're willing to spend.